The house will remember that there was some talk at one stage of a Commonwealth citizenship. Now, it was difficult to understand what the status of Commonwealth citizenship might be, except that it meant that its members were not completely foreign to one another, that unforeignness remains, but I think it is as well that we left off talking about something vague which could not be surely defined. The other fact also remains, as I have just stated, the fact that we should take the right to ourselves if we so choose to exercise it at any time, to enter into treaties or arrangements with the Commonwealth countries, assuring us of certain mutual privileges and preferences. I have briefly placed before the House this document. It is a simple document, and yet the House is fully aware that it is a highly important document, or rather, what it contains is of great and historic significance. I went to this conference some weeks ago as the representative of India. I had, of course, consulted my colleagues here previously because it was a great responsibility, and no man is big enough to shoulder that responsibility by himself when the future of India is at stake. For many months past, we had often consulted one another, consulted great and representative organizations, consulted many members of this house. Nevertheless, when I went, I carried this great responsibility, and I felt the burden of it. I had able colleagues to advise me, but I was the sole representative of India, and in a sense, the future of India for the moment was in my keeping. I was alone in that sense, and yet no quite alone, because as I have travelled through the air, as I was there at the conference table, the ghost of many yesterdays of my life surrounded me and brought up picture after picture before me, saints and guardians keeping watch over me, telling me perhaps not to trip and not to forget them. I remembered, as many members might remember, that day 19 years ago when we took a pledge for the first time on the bank of the river Tavi at the midnight hour on 26 January, and how we took that off repeated pledge year after year in spite of difficulty. And finally, I remembered that day when, standing at this very place, I placed a resolution before this house.